Hello, this is Joe coming back from Nerd in Korea. And we're on the last of the mono black ones. So we're finished our monocolor budget staple series with these 3 videos. That's pretty exciting to get this all wrapped up here. Anyway, what is a staple? Again, we have everyone maybe has a slightly different idea of what a staple is, but it's a widely useful and frequently played card. So what we're talking about here is, I want to talk about some lesser known cards. I think they are cards that work with many different strategies, but are probably best in certain strategies. So like every other card, this may not fit into every deck, but I think it has a place in many, many decks. Or they have a place in many, many decks. But anyway, what is monocolored? So again, there are 5 basic colors: white, blue, red, green, and black. So mono black just means only black. So a mono black card is an only black card. A mono black deck is an only black deck. Black is a very useful color. It specializes in graveyard recursion and targeted removal. So getting things back out of your graveyard, especially creatures, and killing things, right? It's very, very good at both of those things. Especially creatures, I guess. Killing creatures in particular, but anyway. So also budget is very subjective. So I'm kind of using 2 very subjective terms. I started saying toolkit cards instead of staple cards. So I think that is maybe a bit better, but not a real definition. Anyway, for this we're saying $2 and under. Which, as we've gone along, I really wished I set it a little bit higher. The $2 to $3 range has some crazy stuff right now, that's for sure. If you're willing to spend $2 to $3 on some cards, you can get some like stuff that I think is going to be worth a lot more later. But anyway, budget black creatures. Now we are getting into the creatures here. So this is again video 1. Doom Whisperer. I always think like Whisperer in the Darkness, but is anyway. But yeah. Okay. Flying and Trample. I think that's a very good combo. Like Trample again. If flying, some evasion plus Trample, I think it does kind of make maybe people feel like even if they can block it, what's the point? You know, if they have a 1/1 flyer, usually you just block it with a 1/1 flyer. Hey, you're done. Now with this, with Trample, it means 5 damage goes through. Do you still block it? Do you still lose your 1/1 flyer just to save 1 life? Probably not. So I think a lot of times this maybe just gets like ignored. Yeah. So this doesn't get blocked. Also, this has pay 2 life, surveil 2. What I think, again, what I've said in the last couple of videos is look for what it does not say, not what it does say, right? There is no tap required. So for this, you don't tap it and pay 2 life. You just pay 2 life. That means you can just keep doing it over and over and over and over as much as you want, really. You can always be ready for the next turn. See, this can also be very useful with something like we talked about with blue. You could do like the Dimir strategy and yeah, like self-mill, kind of like running your own deck out so that you can win by not having any cards left. So again, what is that called? A Laboratory Maniac, right? If you have Laboratory Maniac and you have no cards in hand as soon as you're supposed to draw, usually you lose the game. Instead, you win the game. So again, you could use him and Laboratory Maniac. If you combo them together, you just use your own life to mill all of your cards, and then boom. As long as you don't kill yourself with paying life, it's all fine. But even if you don't use it for that, you can still always know what your top 2 cards are and put them however you want, right? Pay 2 life, look at the top 2 cards, and you decide which one goes on top and which one's on the bottom. So if you need to land, hopefully you can find it. You know, you can always be set up for the next turn is the main thing. And Piper of the Swarm. This is one I really like. First of all, rats you control have menace. So I think there has been a lot of stuff making rats fairly strong type in, you know, recent sets. I think it was which was it? March of the Machines had a bunch of stuff for it, I think? Something like that, but anyway. You can pay 1 and a black, tap to create a 1/1 rat creature token, or pay 2 and 2 black, tap, sacrifice 3 rats, and gain control of any creature. Once again, this does not say gain control of target creature until Piper of the Swarm leaves the battlefield. It doesn't say anything like that, right? Basically, you gain control of the creature until the creature dies. It doesn't, there's no, a lot of times there is some kind of hidden condition. Here, there is not, right? You pay it, sacrifice the rats, tap, and you just take something. Even someone else's commander, you can just take it, right? Which is very, very effective. If someone can't get their commander, it's a pain in the butt. But anyway, this is a token strategy or aristocrat card that I think, oh, sorry. Am I gonna sneeze or not, you know? Anyway, I guess not. Token strategy that can really take people off guard. I think I'm going to be putting this guy into my Chatterfang deck. Again, he cares more about squirrels, but, you know, every time you make a token, he makes a token too. So you can get this 2-for-1 kind of thing from him on there. And every once in a while, if you keep creating rat creature tokens, I'm going to be stealing someone's stuff. So that's fun too. More rats. We're still, oh yeah, that's... Oh, 1. Okay, so it was All Will Be One. That set had all the rat stuff. Okay, not March of the Machines. We got Carumonix, the Rat King. Carumonix sounds like a late 90s techno group, but okay. Anyway, Toxic 1. So if you do damage to someone, they get 1 poison counter. Alright, so this is like Infect, but is not Infect, which is very important for one major reason that I talk about next. Gives all other rats Toxic 1, right? So all of your rats get Toxic 1 from this guy, and they can have Menace. If they have Piper of the Swarm and this guy, you've got Menace and Toxic 1. And for its ETB, its Enter the Battlefield effect, you can search the top 5 cards for rats, reveal the rats, and put them into your hand. Just free card draw when it comes in as well. Again, he's a 3/3 that costs 3 and has Toxic 1 and gives everything else, you know, all the other rats Toxic 1. So that's very good. But yeah. Because Toxic 1 is not Infect, Toxic 1, it doesn't matter how much damage they do, they just give 1 poison counter, right? This can be combined with Infect. So you can have Infect and Toxic 1. So again, if you give him Infect, he'd give 3 poison counters, and he has Toxic 1. So he does 1 more. He does 4 poison counters if he has Infect. So that gets carried away very, very quickly. Blightwing Bandit. So this I really like as kind of like a spell. If you're doing kind of like a spell on your deck with black, there's a lot of Grixis. That's red, blue, and black. Grixis, and yeah, so this would be great with a lot of those kind of decks if you want to do some a lot of like wizard typo or kindred or whatever you want to call it. I don't want to, you know, people get so angry with this online. It's stupid, but anyway. Whenever you cast your first spell during an opponent's turn. So to trigger this, you are casting a spell on someone else's turn. So you need an instant you can use. That's not too difficult, especially if you're combining this with, yeah, something like blue, where you'd be using a lot of instants on their turn. Even counterspell, right? Imagine you use counterspell and you steal the top card of their deck because you countered their spell. That's just salt in the wound kind of thing. I like it. I like it. Anyway, so whenever you cast your first spell during an opponent's turn, look at the top card of their deck and exile it face down. Then you may play that card using mana as any kind of mana, right? So you can just pretend your mana, whatever you're putting in, is the correct type of mana. So yeah, stealing their cards, and probably you're going to be combining it with something that like destroys their, you're killing something or removing something, right? Countering, killing, removing. You're doing something they don't like, and then you're going to steal their stuff. It is a lot of fun. Only 49 cents. Sorry, I should back up. I don't think I've been saying the prices. 48 cents, 21 cents for the Rat King. That's very low, and 49 cents. So here, Newsgraph Mob. First of all, I want to say great aristocrat card. I had this sit in a pile. I came across it last night. I had asked a friend of mine for some suggestions, and this is one of his suggestions as well. So I had the exact same idea. I think this is fantastic. But so it enters with 5+1/+1s on it. Again, this is a 0/0, so technically it just dies. But it enters with 5+1/+1s. Remove a counter each time an opponent casts a spell. So if your opponents cast a spell, you take a +1/+1 off, which sounds bad, but create a 2/2 zombie every time you remove a +1/+1. And especially if you've got like Proliferate and you can just stack a whole bunch of extra +1/+1s on there, they can keep casting spells and you can just keep making zombies. Or bring it out of your graveyard. If you've got mono black, you probably just have a way to keep, taking it back out of your graveyard, throwing it back on the battlefield, and then getting 5 more zombies. Basically, this just keeps creating 5 2/2 zombies. And it punishes your opponents for casting spells, which I love. I love, making someone go, oh, should I actually play the game? Or, because that helps him now, right? That's mean. It's mean. Anyway, Cairn Wanderer. First of all, it's a changeling. This is the first changeling I've covered on this. I actually want to do a changeling video, but changelings are all types. This can be very detrimental and very helpful in a lot of ways. So if you have something like this kills all non-dragons, well, this counts as a dragon too, right? But it also can have things like destroy all wizards, right? Well, this counts as a wizard, right? It's everything at the same time. So, has abilities of creatures in your graveyard. So again, if something in your graveyard has First Strike, Fear, Double Strike, Death Touch, Haste, any kind of Land Walk, Lifelink, Protection, Reach, Trample, Shroud, and Vigilance. If any of your creatures in your graveyard have any of those, it gets it. So that's very, very powerful. I think you could make a very strong deck with this using Populate, so you make copies of this and just load up your graveyard with a whole bunch of stuff that you know has the abilities, like even First Strike, Deathlink, Trample. Deathlink. Death Touch, not Death. Lifelink. Anyway. First Strike, Death Touch, Trample. He's just send him at something, it hits first, he does not take damage so he doesn't die. He does 1 damage to whatever, it dies because of Death Touch, and then Trample. The rest of it doesn't matter how much toughness it has, unless it's indestructible, you just keep knocking everything down, right? So this is actually a pretty amazing card. Only 20 cents right now, too. For 20 cents, I think that is a lot of value. And Giza, Glorious Rejuvenator. Okay, this is a legendary creature, so you could use it as your commander. This, I think the biggest downside to this is actually just like, it's a huge target, right? So let's talk about what she does first. If a creature an opponent controls would die, exile it. At the beginning of your upkeep, put all cards exiled with Giza into the battlefield under your control. Okay, so first of all, they come in, if they would die, they get exiled instead. That's great for like, if someone else is running a graveyard strategy, you just take it down, right? You just stop it right there. At the beginning of your turn, they come in. So that what's important about that is that they are still summoning sick, right? If you're doing it at the end of their last turn, then that'd be great, but yeah. Basically, they're going to be sitting on the field or on the battlefield waiting for something to happen for a full turn, right? Before you get to use them. So also, as soon as someone sees this, they're going to be waiting to kill it. I think this is probably better in the 99 than as a commander. Like, you could use it as a commander. I'm going to throw this in one of my decks, but like, you don't. If you have it as your commander, they're just, you know, people are just going to hold on to the kill spells, and as soon as she comes out, kill, 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 right? Because no one wants to deal with this. Anyway, she's 99 cents right now, which I'm quite impressed. Like, anyway, Orc Sure Shot. This is something I stumbled on a few months ago, and I put on the budget site, and people were actually blown away by this. So I feel like I almost discovered it, which I did not. It's a card. Yeah. Anyway. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield, again, another creature, what does it not say? It does not say non-token. So tokens count for this. Target creature an opponent controls gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Again, the -1s, what's best about that? Indestructible. It doesn't matter, right? Even if something's indestructible, if you give it -1s, it's gone, right? You still kill it. Especially with, in black, a lot of aristocrat strategies, where you get making a lot of tokens. You make a whole bunch of token creatures, and just kill anything you want. Right? Anything your opponents have, just get rid of it. And yeah, this is a whole 8 cents right now. 8 cents for this card. I feel like this just got overlooked somehow, because that is like way more than an 8-cent card. That's like, I don't know. I would expect that to be like $2 minimum, you know? Underworld Hermit. This actually recently dropped in price because it got printed again. This is another one a friend of mine recommended to me, so I appreciate that. And when Underworld Hermit ETBs. Yeah, I got it. When it ETBs or enters the battlefield, create a number of squirrel creature tokens equal to your devotion to black. Ooh. Again, you don't want to use this in like a tricolor deck, but even in a mono black or even a dual color deck, you probably get a lot out of this, okay? So devotion, we have talked about devotion before, but how many pips do you have on the battlefield? Again, by pip, I mean this right here. See the black skull? So it has 2 pips, right? It would count itself. So if you play this, because of itself, it would make 2 squirrel creature tokens. And you probably have a lot more, so you count all of the black ones only, right? So all of the black ones, you'll just count them and add them all up, and there you go. That's how many you get. So here, this is a very popular card. Everyone has seen this, I think, but I don't know if they realize how cheap it's gotten recently. This was like a $10 card not that long ago, and I can definitely see why. Rankle, Master of Pranks. So if he does combat damage to a player, again, it does have to be combat damage. You can't just sneak damage in. Like, again, non-combat damage, there's lots of ways he probably could do that, but yeah, no. Has to be combat. Again, he probably needs some extra evasion, so flying is good, but I would look for even like land walk or something, you know, where you're really ensuring that he is just getting that in. But if he does damage to a player, each player discards a card, or each player loses 1 life and draws a card, or each player, including you. I want to point out, each player does include you. Each player sacrifices a creature. This is a very flexible commander, like mono black cards in general. I think this is definitely a good commander, but it's also very flexible, right? You could do a Madness deck and use his discard to cast your Madness, or you could just get some card draw and life loss for everyone. You would probably want to have lifelink or something then too. Or each player sacrifices a creature. Again, go Aristocrat and just create lots of tokens. So he's going in, they're probably blowing up something that matters, and you're blowing up like a 1/1 nothing, or a 2/2 zombie or something, you know, something where you make them like a dime a dozen. But anyway, okay, this is down to $1.75. I'm actually putting this in a deck I'm making right now, a Tiny Bones deck, because of the discard. So in the 99 though, not my commander. But I think this could, again, I'm sure there's a lot of great decks out there with him as commander. Okay, in the next video, we are going to look at mono black instants and sorceries. So if you found this useful, please check out the next one. Also, we have all the other colors as well. So if you want to see any suggestions for green or red or white or, you know, the other colors, yeah, you can do that. Also, if you could hit like and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. Okay, take it easy and have fun. Bye-bye.